Take a slow breath and listen carefully, because what you are about to experience is not just another voice in your already crowded mind. This is the moment where the noise that has been draining your energy, stealing your sleep, blurring your focus, and making you question your direction finally begins to dissolve. And as you stay here with these words, you will feel something rare in today's world, a sense of mental space, a quiet strength, a calm clarity that makes you realize you were never broken, you were only overloaded. And if this feeling is what you have been searching for, then you already know this journey is worth staying for, worth returning to, worth subscribing to. Because this is not motivation, this is transformation. And it begins with a simple truth that most people never understand. Your mind was never meant to be this loud. You know this feeling, the one that arrives at night when the lights are off and the body is tired, but the mind refuses to sleep. When one small memory turns into 10 scenarios, when tomorrow's responsibilities mix with yesterday's regrets, when your phone becomes both your escape and your prison. When you scroll not because you want to, but because you cannot sit with your own thoughts. And in those moments, you start believing that something is wrong with you, that you lack discipline, that you lack clarity, that you lack direction. But the reality is much more compassionate and much more powerful. Your mind has been trained to react to everything and rest in nothing. And the world around you has rewarded noise so much that silence has started to feel uncomfortable. Yet silence is not emptiness. Silence is where your real intelligence lives. The most successful people you admire are not powerful because they think more. They are powerful because they think with intention. They do not allow every opinion, every notification, every comparison to enter their mental space. They have learned the art of inner stillness, and that stillness gives them an unfair advantage because while everyone else is reacting, they are observing. While everyone else is rushing, they are deciding. While everyone else is panicking, they are creating. And you can feel this difference when you sit in a room with someone who is truly calm. Their presence slows time, their words carry weight, their focus feels sharp. And it is not because their life is easier, it is because their mind is quieter. You have been taught to chase more information, more strategies, more content, more validation. But clarity does not come from consuming more. Clarity comes from removing what is unnecessary. And this is why the silent mind becomes your greatest source of power. Because when the noise fades, you begin to hear your real voice, the voice that knows what you actually want, the voice that is not trying to impress anyone, the voice that is not afraid of the future because it is finally present in the moment. And presence is where confidence is born, because clarity creates confidence. Think about the moments in your life when you performed at your best, when you spoke without fear, when you worked with deep focus, when you made a decision that changed your direction. Those moments were not filled with overthinking. They were filled with a strange and beautiful quiet, a state where your mind and your action were moving together. And that state is not reserved for a few gifted people. It is available to you. But it requires you to stop treating your mind as your master and start using it as your tool. Your mind is a powerful instrument, but right now it is playing every sound at once, every fear, every comparison, every possibility, every worst-case scenario. And you have been listening to all of it as if it were the truth, but thoughts are not commands, they are suggestions. And when you learn to sit in silence and watch them without reacting, you take back control. There will be resistance at first because you are used to constant stimulation. You are used to filling every empty moment with something, music, scrolling, messages, background noise. And when you remove that stimulation, you meet yourself. And that meeting can feel uncomfortable because it shows you how tired you really are, how distracted you have been, how much emotional weight you have been carrying without realizing it. But this is also where healing begins, because silence is not just the absence of noise. It is the space where your nervous system resets, where your thoughts slow down, where your breathing deepens, where your body feels safe again. You start noticing small things, the way your shoulders were always tense, the way your jaw was always tight, the way your mind was always running ahead of your life. And as you notice these things without judgment, you begin to release them. And this release creates energy, the kind of energy that focus requires, the kind of energy that discipline feeds on, the kind of energy that turns intention into action. You do not need to escape your life to find peace. You need to create silence within it. In the morning, before the world demands your attention, in the few minutes between tasks, in the walk where you leave your phone behind, in the moment where you choose to breathe instead of react. These are not small habits, these are identity shifts, because every time you choose silence over noise, you are telling your mind that you are in control. The world will continue to be loud. People will continue to rush. Social media will continue to show you everyone's highlights while you are living your behind the scenes. But winners are calm, not because they have fewer problems, but because they have trained their mind to remain steady in the middle of chaos. And this calmness allows them to see opportunities where others see pressure, to make decisions where others freeze, to create direction where others feel lost. You have been searching for motivation, but what you actually need is mental space. Because when your mind is clear, you do not need to force yourself to work. You move naturally toward what matters. When your mind is clear, you do not need constant validation. Your progress becomes your proof. When your mind is clear, you do not fear the future. You prepare for it with quiet confidence. There was a version of you that believed you had to figure everything out at once, that believed you had to be constantly productive to be valuable, that believed rest was weakness. But that version of you was operating from noise, and now you are learning a new way, a way where stillness becomes strength, where focus becomes natural, where discipline becomes a form of self-respect rather than punishment. Imagine waking up and your first thought is not stress, but clarity. Imagine working for hours without the urge to check your phone because your mind is fully engaged. Imagine facing challenges without the emotional storm that used to follow them. This is not a fantasy. This is the result of a silent mind. And the process begins with something very simple and very powerful: observing your thoughts without becoming them. You are not your anxiety. You are the one who notices it. You are not your past. You are the one who remembers it. You are not your fear. You are the one who feels it and still moves forward. And this separation creates freedom, because when you stop identifying with every thought, you gain the ability to choose which thoughts deserve your energy. You start feeding the thoughts that build you and starving the ones that weaken you. And slowly, your mental environment changes. Your inner dialogue becomes supportive instead of critical. Your focus becomes sharper. Your emotional reactions become slower and more intelligent. And this is how inner strength is built, not through force, but through awareness. There will be days when the noise returns, when stress piles up, when you fall back into old patterns. But this is not failure. This is practice. Because every time you return to silence, you strengthen the neural pathways that create calmness. Every time you pause before reacting, you train your mind to obey you. Every time you sit with yourself without distraction, you deepen your relationship with your own intelligence. You begin to trust yourself, and that trust changes everything. It changes how you walk into a room, how you speak, how you make decisions, how you plan your future, because now your actions are coming from clarity rather than confusion. The silent mind does not make you passive, it makes you precise. It removes the unnecessary and amplifies what matters. It allows you to work deeply instead of working constantly. It allows you to rest without guilt because you know rest is part of performance. It allows you to listen to people fully because your mind is not busy preparing its next response. It allows you to experience life in real time instead of through the filter of overthinking. And as this becomes your new normal, something beautiful happens. You stop chasing every opportunity and start attracting the right ones, because clarity makes your direction visible, and direction makes your energy magnetic. People feel your calmness, they trust your presence, they respect your focus, and you no longer need to prove yourself loudly because your results speak quietly. This is the identity shift, from someone who reacts to someone who responds, from someone who is overwhelmed to someone who is centered, from someone who is searching for peace to someone who carries peace within. And this shift is not built in a single day. It is built in the small daily rituals of silence, the morning breath, the intentional pause, the focused work session, the evening reflection where you release the day instead of replaying it. You begin to design your environment to protect your mind. You reduce the unnecessary inputs. You choose depth over distraction. You value your attention as your most precious resource. And this changes the quality of your life